Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's May 3rd, 2015, and this week we're going to do a lesson covering Angus Young's scales and licks. And this week's question was sent in from Bryan. He's out in Denver, Colorado, and he wrote in with this email. I really liked watching your styles videos of David Gilmour and Jeff Beck. I'm writing in to ask if you could do something similar with Angus Young. I've been an AC/DC fan for a really long time and would like to know which scales Angus uses. Along with that, I'd also like to know what his generic approach is to all those classic AC/DC licks. Thanks for all the guitar lessons work you do, from Bryan in Denver, Colorado, USA. Well, thanks for writing in, Bryan. Angus Young is one of the biggest names in rock guitar, and his approach to chord riffs and pentatonic scales and guitar licks has brought us some of the most popular rock tunes of the last 30 years. Now, it would take a long time to cover all the elements of Angus's playing style, so in this lesson, I'll just place a focus upon both the scales he uses, and we'll also run through the basics for his unique sounding guitar licks. Well, before we try out a couple of guitar licks in the Angus Young style of playing, let's have a run through how he approaches his use of scales. Now, Angus loves the use of minor pentatonic scale, but he also uses the major pentatonic scale as well. So it kind of goes without saying that if you like his style, you better learn these scales. In my first examples, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the typical patterns you'll find Angus Young use for both the major and the minor pentatonics. Now, the first one I'm going to run through is a minor pentatonic. It goes like this. Now, the next idea I want to cover is a major pentatonic. It goes like this. Okay, next I want to cover the way that Angus will blend the sounds of not just those popular major and minor pentatonic scales, but also the blues scale. He has a very unique way of blending the tones that combine different concepts used by guitarists like Jimi Hendrix or Johnny Winter or Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, all those guys. You know, the idea here is that we're basically adding tones between the major pentatonic and the blues scale. Now remember, the blues scale has that flat 5 in it. And this creates a pattern that has both major and minor thirds as well as some extensions, and of course the flat 5 tone. So we're going to use major and minor thirds. We'll have both the major and minor third concepts. We'll have a sixth in there as well, actually, and some of the ideas that are based upon the major second of the scale as well. So the combined scale, it just works out being like this. Well, now let's put those scale concepts to work by learning a couple of generic Angus Young style guitar licks. The first lick is an in-position idea from A minor, and it applies many of those blue notes that we just went through in the combination scale from the last example. If you're a fan, perhaps, of Jimmy Page, you'll certainly spot a good deal of Angus's soloing approach in the tradition of Page's note patterns, but that also stands true for, Jimi Hendrix's approach is used a lot by Angus Young, and same with Johnny Winter, and I've mentioned also Eric Clapton. There's a hint of all those players in Angus's playing, but it's really the side of Angus's approach of how aggressive and fast of a playing style that he has, as well as his fast vibrato, that really sets him apart from everyone else. So anyway, here's the lick I've organized. Play it slowly at first and try building some speed with it over time. Now, you'll notice too on some of those notes there's sort of a tweak. They happen really quick. That's a real classic side of Angus's playing. So it's just that, along the way, You do a real fast bend in there, and it just happens kind of all within the span of just an instant. Well, the other lick that I have to demonstrate takes a run through a very popular approach Angus applies to most of his guitar solos, and it's one that will surprise players a lot more if they shut down the guitar's distortion setting and play almost any of these more major pentatonic-oriented Angus-style guitar licks with a clean channel sound. Now, what you're going to notice rather quickly is that when the licks are played with a clean channel, they sound a lot more like country guitar licks rather than rock licks, and this is due to how he'll blend the major pentatonic with just some subtle minor tones, and he puts it all together with a really neat approach. Now, here's a really classic Angus style lick that leans mostly toward the major pentatonic, but also punches some of those minor sounds in there as well. You'll probably recognize it fairly quickly. You'll probably recognize that one. That's a real classic approach to his style. Now, what's happening there is we're getting a lot of bends executed throughout. And then you get that minor. So you can hear the subtlety there. And then we're just bending back into the G there at the end. So here it is one more time. You know, both the music and the song styles at AC/DC are legendary, but a big part of what anchors the sound of this band is Angus's unique guitar work. And as you've just seen, if you really get to know the major and the minor pentatonic scales, they can be blended against those classic blue notes of the scale to create the combination scale sound that Angus has become so well known for. And so, you know, if you work on these scale patterns and you study a number of his guitar solos and a number of the songs that are, of course, AC/DC classics, you'll really start to get both a feel for his style and a really good understanding for his use of combined pentatonic scales across the guitar. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now. My Blues Guitar Styles ebook is a masterclass course covering a huge amount of information with 8, 12, and 16 bar blues progressions, classic blues styles, plus all the important chord patterns. There's over 50 pages of information, including sections on blues techniques like slide, alternate tuning, and bending. This ebook has everything the guitar player needs for a solid foundation in blues guitar, including 27 MP3 audio tracks for easy at-home study. Blues Guitar Styles is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.